Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take those complex sources you send our way, articles, notes, research, and really break them down into something useful. And today we're exploring something, well, really fundamental about English. It's quite fascinating, actually.
It really is. But before we jump into the deep end grammatically.
Yes. Good point. Especially for you listening, focusing on improving your English fluency. Please, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe to the YouTube channel Daily Colloquial English.
Check out their content.
Yeah? And if you find it helpful, give their videos a like, maybe leave some feedback in the comments.
Your engagement really does help keep things like this going.
Absolutely. And just a quick note on pacing. We know many of you are intermediate learners.
Right. So this topic, it can get a bit dense. We're going to take our time, explain things clearly, step by step.
We want this to feel, helpful, not overwhelming.
Exactly. An exploration, not a lecture.
So what are we exploring? We're digging into a grammar rule that, honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is. Every native English speaker uses it perfectly, all the time.
Without even thinking about it, without ever being taught it explicitly in school, most likely.
We're talking about the proper order of adjectives, those descriptive words before a noun.
Sounds simple enough, right? Just list some words. But which word comes first? Which comes second?
That's where it gets, as one of our sources put it, comically complicated.
Comically complicated, but we all do it. It shows how deeply we absorb language patterns.
Definitely. So let's try a little experiment. We're talking directly to you, the listener here.
Okay, imagine you're describing a house. Just picture one. Now use these three words to describe it. Green, old, and big.
Go ahead, say it out loud. Green, old, big, and house.
Got it. Okay, now second house. This time, use these adjectives. Brick, square, and unusual.
Again, say the phrase aloud. Brick, square, unusual, house.
Now, if you're like pretty much every native or fluent English speaker.
You almost certainly said big old greenhouse for the first one.
And for the second, unusual, square, brick house.
Right. Did you even hesitate? Probably not.
Try saying old, green, big house. It feels weird, doesn't it?
Or square, brick, unusual house. Your tongue almost trips over it. It sounds fundamentally wrong.
And the fact that you automatically, effortlessly applied that specific order proves there's a strict structure, a hidden hierarchy.
So our mission today is to take that instinct, that unconscious knowledge, and make it conscious. Give it a framework.
We'll look at the formal rules, the sort of official lists.
Then we'll explore the exceptions, because language always has exceptions. They're fascinating.
And finally, the best part. We'll give you a simpler way to think about it. A cognitive shortcut, so you can nail this every time, consciously.
Okay, so let's start by just acknowledging how complex this instinctive thing really is.
Right. If we're, as the source says, steeped in it from birth, then trying to actually map it out consciously. That's a challenge.
We use it without thinking, but explaining why we use it that way, that takes some digging. We need to formalize this unspoken rule.
And when you talk about formalizing it, the name Mark Forsyth often comes up.
Yes, from his book, The Elements of Eloquence. He laid out what he famously called an inviolable order for adjectives before a noun.
Inviolable. That's a strong word.
Very strong. We'll come back to that. But first, let's go through his list. There are 9 categories, and he says they must appear in this specific sequence.
9 categories. Okay, let's break them down carefully. This is the foundation.
Right. Category 1, opinion. This is your subjective judgment, what you think of it.
Like lovely, strange, awful, beautiful.
Exactly. It's the furthest from a concrete fact, so it comes first, furthest from the noun.
Okay, opinion first. What's next?
Category 2, size. Now we're getting a bit more concrete, more measurable.
Big, small, tiny, huge, long, short. Got it.
Size. Then category 3, age.
Like old, new, young, ancient. Also measurable, but, it changes over time.
Precisely. See the progression. Subjective opinion, then measurable size, then time-related age.
Okay, I see a pattern emerging. What's 4?
Category 4, shape. Another physical quality.
Square, round, flat, triangular. Makes sense.
Then category 5, color.
Green, blue, red, yellow. Getting very specific now.
Definitely. After color, category 6, origin. Where's it from?
Like French, Mexican, lunar, Victorian.
Exactly. Origin. Then category 7, material. What's it actually made of?
Brick, wooden, plastic, silk, felt. This feels really close to the noun itself.
It does. Material is fundamental to what the thing is. Just one more before the noun itself.
What's number 8?
Category 8, purpose, sometimes called a qualifier. What is the noun used for?
Okay, like a running shoe, or a swimming pool, or a frying pan. That uses a verb form often, right?
Often, yes, like walking stick, sleeping bag.
Yeah.
It defines the function, the specific type, based on use.
And then finally,
Category 9 is the noun itself, the thing you're describing.
wow, okay, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, noun. That's a lot to remember.
It is. Let's test it immediately with our first example. You said, big old greenhouse. Okay, big is. Category 2, size. Old is. Category 3, age. And green is. Category 5, color.
Size, age, color, 2, 3, 5. The order fits perfectly.
Exactly. And if you tried green, big old house, you'd be jumping from 5 color back to 2, size, then 3, age. That violation is what jars the ear.
Okay, that makes the wrongness feel logical now. It breaks that sequence.
Now, you might see this presented slightly differently sometimes. There's also Professor Charles Darling's Royal Order of Adjectives.
Is it very different?
Not fundamentally. The core sequence is pretty much the same. Sometimes categories get grouped a bit, like observation or opinion is first, then size and shape might be bundled together.
But the middle bit, age, color, origin, material, that stays consistent.
Generally, yes. Where Darling adds a really useful nuance is in that last category before the noun. Forsyth called it purpose.
Darling calls it qualifier. You mentioned that.
Right. And the qualifier idea needs a closer look, especially for you learning the nuances. It's a word that's so tightly bound to the noun, it almost forms part of a compound name. It tells you the specific type of thing.
Can you give an example? How is it different from material? Because material felt pretty close to brick house, for instance.
Excellent question. Let's compare. If I say a leather shoe, leather is the material, right? Category 7.
Made of leather.
But if I say a running shoe, running is the qualifier. Category 8. It tells you the shoe's purpose, its specific subtype. A running shoe is a distinct kind of shoe.
Ah, okay. So if I change the material, say a canvas shoe instead of leather, it's still a shoe. But if I change the qualifier a dress shoe instead of running, it's a whole different category of object for a different use.
Precisely. The qualifier is often crucial for defining the specific function or type. Think teaspoon versus silver spoon. Silver is material. Tea is the qualifier defining its specific use.
Got it. That clarifies the distinction. The qualifier helps define what kind it is, not just what it's made of.
Exactly. Now back to Forsyth's inviolable claim for a moment. Our sources note that this kind of rigid statement tends to raise dictionary hackles.
Meaning linguists get annoyed.
Basically, yeah, people who study language know it's messy. It's full of inconsistencies, exceptions, evolution. To say any rule is absolutely inviolable, well, it suggests the formal list is a very strong tendency, a powerful norm, but maybe not an unbreakable law of physics.
Which perfectly sets up the next question. What happens when the rules do break?
Okay, so we've got this formal order, the 9 slots, the royal order. That's the default, the standard pattern most of the time.
Right. But language isn't just about following rules. It's about communication, rhythm, emphasis, sometimes even poetry. And that's where we see the rules bend or break.
And these aren't necessarily mistakes.
Not at all. Often they're established conventions, things that sound right because they break the formal rule, usually for reasons of rhythm or historical usage.
Let's look at that Grateful Dead example again, from the song Truckin'.
What a long, strange trip it's been. A classic line. Okay, applying the rules. Long is size, category 2. Strange is opinion, category 1.
So the strict rule says opinion first. It should be strange, long trip.
But, say that out loud, what a strange long trip. It sounds clunky, stiff.
It really does. And the reason long, strange trip sounds natural is because, well, it's been the dominant phrasing for ages.
Really? Before the song?
Oh, yeah. Sources show long, strange appearing commonly in writing way back into the 19th century. The song just picked up on an existing, natural-sounding rhythm.
So the sound, the rhythm of the syllables kind of overrides the abstract grammatical category in this specific phrase.
It seems so. The natural cadence, maybe the stress pattern, just feels better with long, strange. It became conventional, even though it violates the strict opinion size order.
That implies the rule is more descriptive of common patterns than a prescriptive law you must obey.
I think that's a fair way to put it. And you see it elsewhere, too. Think Bob Dylan.
Which song?
Don't think twice. It's all right. He sings about walking down that long, lonesome road.
Okay, long is size again. Lonesome is opinion, observation.
Yeah, category 1, opinion or observation. So again, the rulebook says lonesome, long road.
But long, lonesome road just flows better, doesn't it?
It does, same pattern. Size jumps ahead of opinion, likely for rhythmic reasons, and because it just sounds right in that poetic context.
It's interesting. In both long, strange trip and long, lonesome road, the word long isn't just about physical distance, is it? It's more metaphorical. The duration or the feeling of the trip or the road.
That's a really insightful point. Perhaps when size words like long are used more metaphorically, describing an experience rather than just a physical measurement, they behave a bit more like opinions themselves, allowing them to shift position more easily.
Maybe the context changes how we mentally categorize the word.
It's possible. Language is flexible like that. But it's not just poetry or history. Sometimes you break the rules for very practical, immediate reasons. For clarity.
Right. Let's talk about the emphasis exception. The source used a great scenario.
The felt hats.
Okay, picture this. Your friend has lots of felt hats.
Huh?
You want to borrow one. Two of them are very similar.
Both are lovely. Both are old. Both are made of felt.
The only difference.
Yeah.
One is green, the other is yellow.
Okay, so if you follow the strict royal order, opinion lovely, age old, color green-yellow, material felt, you should ask for the lovely old green felt hat.
But if you say that whole string, can I borrow the lovely old green felt hat? Your friend might have to stop and think, wait, which one? Green or yellow? The key piece of info, the color, is buried third in line.
Exactly. You need to make the distinguishing feature immediately clear, the pertinent adjective.
So what do?
You deliberately break the sequence. You pull the most important adjective, the one that resolves the ambiguity, right to the front.
So you'd say,
I'd like to borrow the green old felt hat.
You put green, color, category 5, right after the article, jumping ahead of lovely, opinion 1 and old, age 3.
You do it purely for clarity, to emphasize the difference instantly. Communication trumps the abstract rule.
This is really empowering for someone learning. It's okay to bend the rule if it makes your meaning clearer. Know the standard, yes, but know why you might deviate.
Absolutely. The rule serves clear communication. Clear communication doesn't have to rigidly serve the rule in every single case.
And realizing that language is this flexible, this practical, it leads us nicely to a much simpler way to approach this whole thing.
Yes, a way to get the order right without having that 9-item list floating in your head, let's be honest. Trying to consciously sort adjectives into opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, while you're trying to speak or write fluently.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for getting completely tongue-tied or bogged down. Brain freeze waiting to happen.
You'd get tangled in the details. It's just too much active processing for smooth communication. We need a shortcut.
Something more intuitive. That captures the why behind the order, not just the what.
Exactly. And that's where Professor Keith Folse's noun proximity theory comes in. It's really quite elegant.
Noun proximity. Okay, what's the core idea?
It's simple and powerful. The adjective that is most like a noun itself should be placed closest to the noun.
Most like a noun. What does that mean exactly?
It means we're thinking about how concrete, how fixed, how thing-like the adjective is. Is it describing a subjective feeling, or is it describing a substance, a type, a fixed quality?
So it's like a spectrum. From really abstract, subjective words at one end, further from the noun.
To words that name materials, origins, specific types, things that are much closer to being nouns themselves at the other end, right next to the noun.
Okay, judging how noun-like a word is. Let's try this with that complex example from before.
The hat, described with old, felt, green, and lovely.
Right, so noun is hat. We apply the noun proximity theory, step by step.
Okay, step 1, look at our adjectives old, felt, green, lovely. Which one is the most noun-like?
Felt. Felt is a type of cloth, a material. You could say a piece of felt. It's practically a noun already.
Exactly. Felt names a specific concrete substance. So because it's the most noun-like, it goes immediately before hat.
So we have felt hat. That matches the formal rule-placing material right near the end.
It does. It's intuitive. Material defines what it is. Okay, step 2.
What's left? Old, green, lovely. Which of these is the next most noun-like or concrete?
Well, green is the name of a color. Colors can function as nouns, right? Green is my favorite color. It names a specific, fixed quality.
More fixed than old or lovely.
I'd say so. Old relates to age, which changes. Lovely is pure opinion. Green is a more constant attribute of the object itself. So green comes next.
Okay, so now we have green felt hat.
Perfect. Now for the trickiest part. We're left with old and lovely.
Both feel pretty subjective. Old is age, lovely is opinion. Both can sort of be nouns in weird phrases like days of old or hello, my lovelies. How do we decide which is more noun-like?
This is where we think about the type of subjectivity. Lovely is pure, abstract opinion. It's entirely in the eye of the beholder, highly subjective.
Okay, and old.
Old relates to age. Age, while relative, is connected to the passage of time, something potentially measurable, even if abstractly. It describes a state related to time rather than just an emotional reaction.
Ah, so the theory suggests that qualities related to measurable dimensions like age or size, even if subjective in application, are considered conceptually closer to concrete reality than pure emotional opinions like lovely.
That seems to be the idea. Old describes a state, however relative. Lovely describes a feeling. The state is deemed slightly more concrete, more noun-like in this comparison.
So old comes next.
Old comes next, leaving the most purely subjective, least noun-like word for the very beginning.
Which means we have
Mm.
old goes before green felt hat, making it old green felt hat.
And that leaves only lovely, the pure opinion, the least noun-like word. It goes right at the start, furthest from the noun.
Giving us the final order, lovely old green felt hat.
And there you have it.
Wow. Okay, that actually works. It gives the exact same result as Forsyth's complicated 9-category list.
But using a single conceptual principle. How noun-like is the adjective?
Phew, as the source said. That feels much more manageable.
It replaces rote memorization of slots with an intuitive understanding of a word's nature. Concrete things close to the noun, abstract things further away.
This is brilliant for learners. It gives you a tool, a way to analyze and construct phrases, rather than just memorizing a list. You have conscious control now.
So let's just quickly recap what we've unpacked here.
We started with the formal structures, those lists from Forsyth and Darling, the kind of rule book order.
Then we saw that language is flexible. Those rules aren't absolute. Poetry, rhythm, like in Long Strange Trip.
Or just the need for clear communication, like emphasizing the green old felt hat, can lead to accepted violations.
But the real game changer, I think, is Professor Folse's noun proximity theory.
Definitely. Thinking about adjectives on that spectrum, from abstract opinion to concrete material, gives you this powerful, intuitive way to get the order right.
It moves you from just following a rule instinctively to understanding why the rule generally works the way it does. That conscious control is huge for improving both your reading comprehension and your own sophisticated writing and speaking.
You're not just using the pattern anymore, you're seeing the logic behind it.
Exactly. And that deeper understanding, that ability to analyze, brings up one last thought for you, the listener, to chew on.
Ooh, okay. A final provocative question.
Sort of. It connects the noun proximity idea back to those exceptions we talked about.
Go on.
If noun proximity naturally pushes concrete things like material, felt, close to the noun, and abstract things like opinion, lovely, far away,
Right.
what's really happening when a phrase like long, strange trip breaks the formal opinion size rule? Long size comes before strange opinion.
Okay.
Is it just rhythm? Or by placing long where an opinion might normally sit, further from the noun trip, does that violation actually subtly shift how we perceive long?
You mean, does breaking the rule make long feel less like a literal measurement and more like a part of the subjective, emotional quality of the trip, more like an opinion itself?
Perhaps. Does violating the typical proximity rule actually reinforce the metaphorical sense of long in that phrase? Maybe breaking the rule sometimes reveals a deeper principle about how word order signals emphasis or shades of meaning.
So when you put the green old felt hat first for clarity, you're using that proximity principle, putting the key info first to give it more weight. Breaking the standard order is the mechanism for emphasis.
It's something to think about as you listen and read. How does word order affect meaning, even when it seems to break a rule?
Fascinating stuff. Oh, well, thank you for digging into these sources with us. The Royal Order of Adjectives, complicated, but also kind of beautiful in its own way.
It really is a neat corner of grammar. It was a pleasure exploring it.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.